I don't know. How many of us are familiar with Excel? I don't know if there's anyone who is familiar with Excel. If there's anyone, just let me know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Just a second. Let me try and share my screen so that we can jump into it. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Please, I would like this class to be as interactive as possible. If there's anything you are not getting, please draw my attention to it so that I can explain it clear. So, I will try to be as fast as possible so that we can cover a lot of grounds. So let's just introduce Excel, the basics, the interface, and just so you can know the workings around on Excel. So we all know Excel is a spreadsheet software. It's used for data management and data analysis and a whole lot of other calculations that you have there. So for those who may not really have any experience with Excel, I'll just go into the basics. So basically, this is when you open an Excel file, it's called a workbook. And there are some, file formats that these workbooks come in. We have the CSV, which is called the comma separated variables or comma delimited variables. Those ones are usually generated from databases. Maybe when you want to extract some data from a database, maybe SQL Server or what have you, the data is usually generated in CSV, which is also an Excel spreadsheet, but it's a different file. And I'm going to explain why it's different. It's different in the sense that the data you have is really raw. What I mean raw is that you can't really make any changes like that. Even some formulas might not work, and you can't even have more than one sheet in a particular workbook. What do I mean? For example, if you can see this mouse, here is written sheet 1. This is a different spreadsheet on the same workbook, which is this entire Excel file. And then there is another spreadsheet here, which I will be going into later in the lesson. So what it means that if you have a CSV file and you do some of your calculations and put in all your formulas, and you create different spreadsheets or different tabs, as some other people call it, you won't be able to save those work. In fact, when you try to save it in CSV, they will tell you that you're going to lose some of the formattings and all that you have done. So they will advise you to save it in an Excel workbook format, which is the popular XLSX. So those are the major two workbook formats we have in Excel. And then we have our cells. Each of all these boxes you see, they are called cells, and they are unique. Unique in the sense that each of them have a name, or will I say an address. For example, if you look at this area, it's written B3. B3 is the name of this cell. If you come here, we have R11, and you can even decide to say maybe J215. It will take you to that cell, J215. You understand? If we want to go back to the first cell, we have A1, which is the first. So in Excel, we have our columns named in letters. As you can see, this is A, B, C, and it goes down. And the funny thing is that because Excel is designed to work with large data sets, even though not like big data, like maybe all these billions of rows and columns, it won't be able to handle that. But Excel is designed in such a way that it can handle as much as possible. For example, we have maximum of 1 million rows, and rows are numbered 1, 2, 3, as you can see them here. And if you keep going down, you can see this column ends in Z and it starts all over, A, B, and it can keep going down to even A, down like that. So that's just the basics. And I don't know, does anybody have a question so that I can go into the main thing we need to do? That's the basics about Excel. Does anybody have a question?
It's clear, sir.
Okay. All right, so we'll jump back into it. So I'm going to be touching some of the key functions that we use in Excel every day. And I'm going to be using this particular spreadsheet, which is named Engineering Graduate Salary. So I'm going to click here, and we have a raw data. Actually, as you can see, the name of this spreadsheet is Engineering Graduate Salary.csv. This was pulled from a database. That's why it's in CSV. But if I'm to do some proper work and analysis and all those my plenty formulas I'm going to be showing you guys, I will have to save this work in an Excel spreadsheet, which is basically just saving as an Excel workbook. This is it here. But this is I'm using the 2007 version. So some of you might be using 365, 2016, and 2019, but it's basically the same thing. When you go to save as, you see Excel workbook or SLSX. That's what you'll be saving it as, in case you have a lot of functions and formulas and maybe graphs and charts that you have plotted, so that it will be able to save. So going forward, I would like to draw to your attention that this bar here, you see this place where we have the FX, there's a space in here. It's actually called the formula bar. If you click any cell, for example, let me click this, you can see everything that has been written into this cell appearing at the formula bar. But as we are going to proceed, there are some formulas I'll be using, and those formulas will actually maybe generate some of these values, maybe numbers or some text values. But when you click them, you will be seeing those formulas here instead of the text values or the numbers. So I know it won't be clear now, but let's just go into it. First of all, when we are having a data like this on Excel, you can't really make meaning out of this data. I mean, looking at it, there is no meaningful thing you can generate out of this. So if you are to start working with a spreadsheet given to you like this, usually I recommend, I don't know what about other experts, but usually I recommend that you start by looking into each of these columns, each of these data fields, to know what does this data contain. So the first thing we do is we go to data. Can we see this here? Data. Please respond. Let me be sure you are seeing what I'm doing.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you click data, you'll see something around here, filter. Click the filter. And if you click it, you notice there is something like a drop down on the headers. I don't know if you have any data set you are working with there. Is there anyone you guys are working with? Is there any data set you guys are working with currently?
No. You have a data set, correct? You have one, correct?
I didn't get you.
Like, we've not been given any data set.
Okay, you've not been given any. Okay, because I was thinking as I'm doing, you can be following along, maybe with a separate data set. But okay, let's just go on. I'll be able to. Okay, no problem.
Sorry.
So, okay.
Can I send it to the page so that everybody can have access to this particular one?
If possible, please, so that they can follow along. Thank you.
Okay. I'll do that.
Okay, before she sends that, let me just continue. Then when she sends it, you let me know, and then I'll just go back afresh. So, like I was saying, when you click here, you see there's a drop down. on every single column you have here. What it means is that if you click here, this drop down, it will show you every single data contained in that column. As you can see, this is ID. We have some numbers here, and it arranges it in ascending order. For example, this is 11244. This is the list number here, and if you scroll down, the highest number is 1297877. If you are using maybe 2000 and something as high as 2016, that is the Excel version, you'll see a space in this filter. That space is for you to maybe type what you are looking for. For example, maybe I want to filter something under degree, column K. I click here. As you can see, we have 4 different categories here of the degrees. So looking at this data, Excel will let you know that we have only 4 categories in this column, and we have about, I think the last time I checked, there are about 2,000, yeah, about 2,000, almost 3,000 data here. That is what I mean by 3,000 rows. Each of these, they're up to 3,000. But as you can see, filtering from column K, I can see only 4. What it's trying to tell me is that out of all the data we have in column K, it's not more than 4. You will not see anything outside this category. You won't see anything outside of these 4 categories. That is the BTech, BE, MSc Tech, MTech, ME, and the MCA. Same thing with specialization, column L. Okay, there is a whole lot here. And then P, you have the college states. We have some, I think this is an Indian data. So we have like Andhra Pradesh, Assam, and all those stuff. I don't know how to pronounce them anyway. So basically, on Excel, the filter function helps you to look into every single data that you have, and we'll still come to data cleaning, because most of the time we use this method to clean our data to check if there is any inconcurrent data in a particular data set. For example, here now we have gender. F stands for female and M stands for male, and we know that if we see anything more than F and M here, there's a problem. Even if we see a blank, for example, let me just delete this. I've deleted the particular data here. So when I come back here, you are saying F, M, and blank. Sometimes it's good when you do something like this, you'll be like, okay, why does a particular person not have a, what do you call it, or a particular sex identified here? So we can actually filter out the blank by unchecking here, or just uncheck all these, or you just simply uncheck from here and select blanks. So it hides every other data that you have, leaving the blanks. But if I should enter that, maybe this is let's just assume this is as a result of data entry error, and maybe you verify from your source documents, and then you realize, okay, this person is actually male, and you enter M. Okay, it was in small letter M, and then once you come here, you see where they wrote clear filter from gender, or you can just click here, anyone, both of them work. If you go back, you notice you are not seeing any blanks anymore, because it's not seeing the blank anymore. But if there is a blank, it will identify it. So it's one of the ways you can use to clean your data. Same thing with dates. When you come here now, you have date of birth. You filter. Now, Excel has a way of arranging dates when you filter it. It arranges in year. And you can see 1997 to 1981. So you can say now, looking at this data, we've not even started doing analysis, but we can tell that the lowest, what will I say, the least, or the youngest, let me put that, the youngest in this company basically was born 1999. So nobody was born earlier than 1999. And the oldest was born 1981. So nobody was born later than 1981. We don't need to do any special analysis. Just filtering this, we can see it here. But if you want to go deeper, you can see there is a plus sign here. For example, 1997. Let's click this plus sign here. We can see out of the 1997, we have only the month of May. And we can go further to see the day because there's another plus sign here. So we click this and we see 27. So if I'm to filter the youngest person here now, I'll basically just uncheck here. So there is nothing else ticked, and you can see the OK button is freezed because there's nothing that has been ticked here. So I'm going back here and I can just click 27. So every other thing here ticks because that is the only data. And then I click OK. Now I've been able to filter out the youngest person here, and is a male. This is their ID number, and this is their degree, BTech. Specialization is mechanical engineering, as you can see it here also, and going on like that. Then if I want to also filter for the oldest, basically the same thing. I'll clear my filter and then uncheck here where we have select all. Every other thing is unchecked. Then I go down here. Now 1981. Let me know if there's any other months there. So I click this plus and I'm seeing May again. And I click the plus again, I'm seeing 6. So the oldest person was born 6th of May 1981. So I click that, OK. So I can see it's also a male. And then we have the ID here, 257095. And the degree is MCA. Specialization is computer application. So that's just basically one of those things we do. And let me look at something I want to filter here. For example, let me look at this data again. Okay, this is college. If you want to stretch this, you can just keep your mouse here. When you see something like this, you just drag it or double click anyone. Double click will help actually give you the actual fit for the width. So now we have college GPA here. So let's know what is contained in this college GPA. So we can filter here on column M. This is where we are working now. So I'm going to click the filter. Now, okay, I'm saying 6.63 and the highest here is 99.93. Okay. What does this say? Their GPA is calculated in 100% from what I understand. And the lowest GPA here is 6.63%. Wow. And we have a whole lot of other low GPA. Interesting. So let's look at the lowest. Okay. Now, this is what I have filtered for the lowest GPA, 6.63%. And it's also a male. And this is the date of birth, 4th of May 1991. Interesting. It's really interesting because I actually thought this was just normal GPA, like grade point average, but from what I'm seeing here, this is in percentages because the highest I'm seeing here is 99.93. So I don't know if this is an actual, or I don't know. I'm just thinking, is this an actual correct data, or maybe they mixed up two different grading systems? I don't know, but let me just work with the fact that this is 100%. So this is the lowest percentage, and we still have a whole lot of low percentage till we get to, I think, 49.07. So are we following up to this point?
Message from
Yes, sir.
scholarship regiment. Notification from
Are we following?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
If there's anything that it's not clear, please draw my attention to it. Okay. So let's go into
Sorry,
this.
sir.
Just Okay,
We
okay,
have the dataset now.
okay, okay,
So I don't know if you can copy.
okay. Is it open?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's open.
Almost. I'm about to open mine.
Okay. Just a second. Let me come in. Okay. If we are all ready, just let me know.
Hello, sir. Sorry, my column C, which is the date of birth, is just showing ash, and it's not
Okay.
showing numbers.
Your column. This. You know what you do? Just look at my screen. Can you see what I'm doing?
Yes, sir.
Column. What is that again?
C, date of birth.
Okay.
0.
C. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you see what my mouse is doing on column C? Can you see it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now move
Yes.
it to the right where you have that C. You see a cross.
Yes, sir.
Now double click it.
Okay. Oh, perfect. I got it. It's showing.
Yeah. So basically, if you have any data like that is showing hash, it's showing that the data is shrinked. So you have to stretch the width so that you can be able to see all the information that's inside.
Yes.
Oh,
I also
thank you
experienced
so
the
much.
same thing, sir. But mine is in form of slash, not hyphen.
Is yeah hash, right?
Yeah, after I double clicked
Something like this.
Yes, after double clicking it was in form of like the 22-10. So instead of hyphen, my one was slash.
Okay, maybe it's your. I think it works with your system, the way you put your date formats on your system. So it's not a problem.
Okay.
It's not a problem. It's just the same dates. Okay, so I guess we are following at this point. So let me start afresh. Now, just in case you have any of those hash anywhere, just check so that you can stretch the data out. Okay, are we good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's go back to the filtering, but I actually want to introduce you to shortcuts. Shortcuts are really, really handy and makes your work very productive because there's a whole lot of time that you save when you use some of these shortcuts when working with Excel. So for example, when you have a data set like this, where there are no other, will I say, confusing data around, this data set won't be able to help me explain what I want to explain, but let's just go by, like that. Now you can see there's a complete data set here. So when you have a complete data set like this, just click anywhere within the table, anywhere at all, just a single cell, and then hold Control, Shift, and L. That is the shortcut for the filter. Control, Shift, and L. Let me know if you've got that. Are we good with that? Just click anywhere within the table, just any cell at all, and then hold Control, Shift, and L.
It's not. I don't know what's supposed to pop up.
Can you see
It's
the
not bringing it.
drop downs? Can you see the drop downs?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I
Okay,
can see
exactly
it.
what I wanted you to see. So that is the
Oh,
shortcut. But if you don't want to use the shortcut, or maybe you might forget the shortcut, it's the same thing we did here. Just click anywhere within here, just a single cell, then you come to data, and then you see filter. So if I click the filter, it's going to remove the filter right now because I have the filter on. So if I click it again, it comes back. Same with my shortcuts. I can decide to use my Control-Shift-L to take out my filter, and Control-Shift-L puts back my filter. So it's just a shortcut that you will need, especially when you have a lot of work to do. You don't want to keep clicking and clicking. Just use your keyboard shortcuts and you're good to go. So let's continue. I want us to filter out something now. Let's filter the date of birth, okay? Now, can you see my mouse? Let me increase this a little. Can you see my mouse? Can you see my mouse?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's filter the date of birth. Now, I want to show you other ways we can filter instead of clicking. Now, I want to filter those who are born between the age, between the year, what year are we going to work with? 1990 and 95. Now you can see there's something called date filters here. Can you see it on your own?
So
Can you see date filters?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
now when you see that date filters, you can see there are a whole lot of criteria to filter, whether you want to filter based on tomorrow, today, yesterday, next quarter, whatever you have there. But now I want us to filter between 1990 and 1995. So you can see between here, you click it. Have we done that?
Yes, sir. There's a pop-up.
Now you can see a pop-up, custom auto filter, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what we are going to do now is we are going to select a date picker here. There's a calendar you see here, right? Can you see the calendar?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we click that
Yes, sir.
calendar.
Yes, sir. I can see.
Or maybe let me just, instead of clicking the calendar, let's just write 01, depending on your date format, dash 01 dash 90. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Then that what you just put in is the date of birth. It is after
Yes,
or
sir.
equal to. You understand?
Yes, sir.
This is just basically saying greater than or equal to
Equal to.
1st January 1990. And then here is also saying the date of birth is before or equal to, which is less than or equal to. So we're going to write 31st of December 95, which is the last day of 1995. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now
sir.
just click OK or enter, anyone.
Okay.
Now you notice something. If you just keep scrolling
Yes.
down, you notice that all the ages are between 1990 and 1995.
1995.
Now,
Yes, sir.
a quick tip. If you are given a data set like this that has filter on, and maybe there's some kind of analysis you might want to do, you filter here and filter there, and you can even filter up to 6 or even 10 columns. And then you are trying to unfilter some of those places where you filtered. If you want to know whether you still have a filter somewhere, what I mean is you have a data where you have selected a particular value you want to display or filter out. Look at, you can see this place, right? where you have your 1, 2, 3, the row numbers. If you see them blue like this, just so that there's a filter on somewhere, something was filtered. If you take out the filter,
Okay.
for example, let me take out this filter now. I want to clear my filter. You see, everything is now black. This is to tell you that there is no filter anywhere. So in case you want to calculate anything without a filter, maybe there's something you want to actually calculate without a filter, you won't be getting a wrong calculation. So it's just a quick tip for you so that you don't make mistakes when you are filtering, because sometimes we filter different columns and we forget, maybe we want to unfilter and then we forget, maybe we missed out one. It can actually give you error when you are making some calculations. So let me go back to this. 01, 01, 90 and 31, 12, 95. Okay, now we have a total of 2,197 employees that are born between the year 1990 and 1995. How do I know? Just look at where my mouse is going. Can you see this? Can you see this?
I can't see a mouse. Okay.
Can you see my mouse?
Sorry, sir. Please, excuse me, sir. Please, can you go through
Okay.
the filtering? In step 2, when you wanted to filter, please, can you come over it again? Go over it again.
Okay, you mean how to
Like,
filter or
the
how
last,
to know when you have a filter on?
like how to filter. Like,
Okay.
when you.
Okay, I'm going to clear this filter now and do it again. Now, I want to filter the date of birth. People who are born between the year 1990 and 1995. So is your filter on right now? Can you see these drop downs?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So on column C, you click date of birth. Usually, what people do is they just uncheck here and come here and tick 1990, 1990, 91, 92. Now, why this is not, advisable is because you might need to filter a whole lot of, maybe you have 50 things to filter. Will you now be ticking one by one till you tick all the 50? That will take to consume time. So the fastest way is to use your date filters here. Can you see this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, we are going to filter values that are between, meaning we want to take a range. So I click here. I now see it brings out this custom auto filter. So we have date of birth, which is after or equal to, and is before or equal to. It's basically saying greater than or equal to this, less than or equal to this. So here now we just type in the date. That is the first day of the year, which is January 1st, or 1st January 1990. That is the first day. So it's more like querying a database, right? So we are going to check everybody who was born between this year and this next one now, 31st December 1990, depending on your date format. Just type depending on your date format. If it is slash, you use slash instead of hyphen. If it is 1990 full, that's your own date format is writing, you put your 1990 like this in full. Okay? And then you press OK, or you just press enter, anyone, and then you have it. Okay, why am I having a different value? Did I make a mistake initially? Let me look at it again. Between okay, yeah, I think there was a mistake.
Sorry, sir. When I did after filtering the year, like using the range you mentioned, it's
Okay.
sort of like it was as if it's cleared my screen. It started from 3,000. Like I couldn't see all the values from 1 to 2,999.
Okay. Okay, let's go through it again. I want you to just click anywhere in that table.
Okay.
Now press Ctrl Shift L.
I've done that.
Now, can you see everything now?
Yes, I can see everything.
Okay. Now, press Ctrl Shift L again.
Okay.
Now you can see the drop downs on the data fields, the headers.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, now let's do the filtering again. Date of birth. Click the drop down. And then you come to date filters.
Yes,
Then between. So you put in the first day of 1990. And then here you put in the last day of 1995. And you click OK or press enter. So what do you have on your screen now?
Same thing, sir. Can I show you what's showing on my screen?
Okay, please do.
Sir?
Let me stop my sharing. Okay. Share what you have. Let me see.
Oh, like I'm using my laptop. Like I'm connecting
Okay.
with my phone.
Okay.
So
Okay.
sort of like it's cleared everything on my screen. Then like so it's showing from 3,000 downwards.
Okay.
Then
Let's do it again. What it actually means is that maybe there's where you enter the data and it didn't bring out any value. This is basically null values. Like there is no, whatever you typed in, there is nothing matching such criteria. So
Okay.
let's clear your filter again.
Okay.
So click that drop down on column C. Now clear, just go to clear filter.
This one.
Yeah, perfect. Now go back to your filter. Okay, I'm seeing your date format now. I'm going to help you with your own date format. Now go to your date filters.
Yeah.
Now between. Okay. Drag the custom, let me see it well, drag it up. I mean, drag the custom filter towards maybe,
Can you see it, sir?
Yes, I can see it now. Now, do you know what you're going to do? Just type 1/1.
Okay,
slash
1/1.
1/1990.
Okay, I've done that, sir.
Then on the other one, 31/12/1995.
Slash 1995.
Wait, before you press
Then,
enter, there's a drop down, right? Click on one of those drop downs. Let me see what the date format really looks like. Okay, we're on point. No problem. I just wanted to see the format. Okay,
so
press OK.
should I proceed? Okay.
Yes.
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Go back there again. Okay. Go to where you have the calendar, just beside it.
Okay.
I'm not seeing your screen well. Have you clicked the calendar? Now, just click any date.
Okay, any date. Should I click on one?
Click one. Click one.
Okay.
All right, then the other one. Do it for the other one.
Click on 31st or 30.
31st. Okay, scroll to December and click on 31st.
Okay, well, this is 2022.
Okay, it's 2022.
Yes.
Okay. 31. That this should work. Okay. Okay, you know what? Put 12.
Sir?
Where you have 31, put 12.
Okay.
Where you have 31, put 12. And then where you have your 12, put 31.
Okay. So, I should press OK.
Yes, press OK.
Okay.
So that your own date format starts with
This is
month before
date
day.
format.
Yeah, so when you're doing something
Okay.
like you work with your date format. So you have to, I think it's the date format you're using for your personal system.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it affects the format you have on Excel.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. So let's continue. Wow, we have a lot to cover. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, so now as
Yes.
you can see my mouse, I was trying to show you something. Just follow my mouse down here where you see ready. You'll see 2197 of 2988 records found. So it's more like you're querying a database and it's telling you we have found 2,197 out of 2,998 that are born between 1990 and 1995. This is just a quick analysis using your filtering. Do we get that?
Yes, sir.
So whenever you're working with Excel, always check the values you have here. Then also maybe if you want to, for example, have a blank. There's no blank here, so I'm clicking here. And then if you come over here, you see where we have counts, 2999. What it's actually doing is counting every non-empty cell here, including the header. So usually when we have data set, like we just want to know how many is there, we just check. Maybe let's use gender. We know there is no blank here, so we just click here, and then we'll check counts 2999. So we just subtract 1 from it, which is the header. We're subtracting the header, and we have 2998. So we just know we have 2,998 employees here. Another way is you can actually click here and drag down, but I'll have to show you the shortcut, because if you have to drag from here till you get to the last, you can take almost 30 minutes doing that. So there's a shortcut we're going to use. Just come to your column B. Let's work with column B. Click B2 where we have the first data, and then click Control Shift and press down your direction key down. So what this does is it's going to select every data you have right to the bottom. And once you do that, you check your counts and you see you have 2998, which is the accurate number we have here. Same thing with counting your number of columns. I can put my cursor here and I click the first cell, which is A1, and then I hold my Control Shift and then right. So the last column we have here is AH, and the count here is 34. So we have 34 columns we are working with. But if there is a blank somewhere here, it won't count it. Please note that if there's a blank anywhere in your data, it won't count the blanks. So are we following up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I want us to do sorting. I want us to sort our data now. Now, in a situation where you have a data like this, you might say, okay, arrange this date of birth from the youngest to the oldest. It's very easy. So you come to where you have your date of birth here. Let's click this drop down. Are we there? Are we there?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we can see sort here, A to Z down. Let's click this. Actually, it's A to Z, but here it's saying sort oldest to newest. So what I actually clicked was to sort it from the oldest person down to the youngest person, but that is not what we want. So because we are working with dates here, we are sorting from newest to oldest. So we click here. Now you can see, you even see an arrow pointing downwards. So if you remember, are we together?
No,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
I'm lost.
You are lost?
Yes, sir. Start from the sort again, please, sir.
Okay, just a second, please. Now I want to sort this data. I want to sort it from the it's something I just noticed. Just a second. Okay. All right. So I want to sort this from the youngest to the oldest here. So I'm clicking here, and you see sort oldest to newest, or sort newest to oldest. So this is what I want to sort, newest to oldest. So I'm going to click here. Now you can see my data. This is the youngest person, born 27th of May, 1997. And if I drag my scroll bar down, we now have the oldest person here, who was born
So, sir,
6th.
my own is bringing up a pop-up that what do you want to do? Expand the selection and continue with the current selection. Do I have to select the column for date of birth first?
No. You are using that same drop down we use for filter. Same drop down we use for filter. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you see sort,
Yes,
oldest to
sir.
newest, or newest to oldest. So
Yes, sir.
select newest to oldest.
Okay. So a pop-up came up that Microsoft found data next to your selection. Since you've not
Okay.
selected this data, it will not be sorted. What do you want to do? Expand the selection or continue with the current selection?
Okay, expand the selection.
Okay, expand the selection.
I don't know why it's showing you that, but basically what it's trying to say is that expand the selection, meaning that if you rearrange the data for date of birth in ascending order, every other data set, every other column associated with that row will also follow that
Okay.
same procedure, so that you
The
don't mix up your data. But if you did not expand the selection,
okay, sir.
it will just arrange only the date of birth, and then it will now assign wrong date of birth to people. You understand?
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. So if
That's
you
it.
have something like, just expand to the whole selection. So now we've been able to filter our data from the
Okay, sir.
youngest to the oldest. Then let's see if we can do any other sorting here. Okay, let's sort the GPA that we saw before. Yes. Let's sort from the largest to the smallest. So this is the person that has the highest score. Am I right? Yes, I'm right. Now, if you notice something, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry, I filtered the wrong, sorry. I was looking for the 99 point something. I filtered the wrong one. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Column M. So we are going back to column M. You click your drop down, you see sort from smallest to largest or largest to smallest. So let's click on largest to smallest. So you notice this is the highest, 99.93, going down to 6.63. So that's just that about sorting. And then there are other ways you can sort. Maybe if you want to sort according to colors. Okay, there's no color we are working with here. So let me leave that one for now. It's a little advanced. So let's move on. But up to this point, is there anybody that doesn't understand anything?
I'm fine. So can I ask a question?
Okay, please do.
Yeah, I want to ask, in case we are giving data set like this, how do we know when to filter and the data set range to filter? Is it that they are going to tell us that, okay, this data set given to us, it needs to be filtered, or we use our discretion? I don't understand. When
Okay.
do we know when to filter and the data set range to filter?
Ideally, when you are given a data set, the first thing you actually do is to know what the data has, like what's the content, the nature of the data you are working with. So ideally, you will put up a filter and actually go through each of the columns, every single column, to know if there's anything that is out of place. For example, imagine I came to the gender in column B after filtering and I click and I'm saying F, M, and I'm saying R or a number. You know that there's something wrong there. So I actually have to filter that out and know what's the issue. And then maybe go back to a source document or contact whoever generated the data for me to confirm and say, okay, let me just give you an example. Let me use this female now and just type 56. We know there's no gender like 56. So I decide to click and I'm saying 56. So I want to know what's up with this 56. So I'm going to filter for just this 56. And if I don't have the source document, I may call who generated this data and say, please check your database. The person that has this ID, 644845. There's a wrong entry in the gender. Help me check. I'm saying 56 here. So you have to check it, and then maybe when they update it from their own back end, you can just update it here as female. So ideally, when you have a data set like this, it's good to put up your filter and go through each of the columns to know if there's anything that is out of place before you start doing your analysis. That's what we call data cleaning. So we're actually doing part of that right now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks. All right. So I want us to look at how we identify duplicates. It's also part of data cleaning. For example, let me see what I can use. Okay, I don't want to. Okay, let me use this. I want to copy this value. Let me put it here as the correct one. I know it's a 0 that is here. Then I want to copy something else and replace it. Now, right here now, I want to identify if there's any duplicate ID, because usually if you are working with data like this, these IDs should be unique. There shouldn't be any duplicates. But there are some instances that maybe there might be data entry error, maybe the way the data was extracted or put together. Some of those errors might come up and you have to identify if there's any duplicate somewhere. So what you do is you come to this column we have here. We want to identify if there's any duplicate here in column A. Now, click the first data, which is the data in A2 here. That is after the header. The first data. When you have it clicked, just press Ctrl, Shift, and down to select everything in that whole column. Now, once you have that done, have we all done that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, when you have that done, now come to your tab here where you have home. Click on home. Are we there? Are we on home?
Yes, sir.
Now look at
Well,
where my
mine
mouse.
was on home normally.
Okay, no problem. Now look at where my mouse is going. You see where we have conditional formatting? Can we see
Yes,
this?
sir.
Now click conditional
Yes.
formatting. Now what we are going to do is to identify if there is any duplicates. And conditional formatting, there are different ways we use conditional formatting to highlight cells or a whole row or even columns, depending on what you are looking for. So we just want to identify a particular cell or cells that have duplicates. So now we are going to highlight where you see highlight cell rules. The rule here we want to apply is duplicate values. So I'm going to click here where you have duplicate values. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Now you click duplicate
Yes, sir.
values, and then you see something here. It shows duplicate values. Now you can decide to change the color, but the default color we have here is light red fill and dark red text. So ideally, you don't need to change anything here. You really don't need to change anything here. So you just click OK. Now, because I did this close by here, we can see that it has identified these two duplicates and colored it or highlighted it red. But what if this data is somewhere down and we can't really identify it? How are we going to do it? This is what we do. You come to your filter here, where you have your drop down. You click it, and this time around, you will see filter color. Filter by color. So it's either you want to filter the text or the field, but let's filter the cell color. So I'm going to click this. Now you see the two values that have the duplicates have been pulled out here. So now I'll be able to identify these two people have the same ID, which is not supposed to be, and they are even having different sex, different other data here. The information here is different. So usually when you see something like this, it's a very big red flag in any organization you are working with. You shouldn't have unique IDs that are duplicates. You understand? Just like having phone numbers that are duplicates or email address that are duplicates or NIN numbers that are duplicates. You understand what I mean? Those things cannot be duplicate. Just imagine this is, let's assume this is NIN database now, and then you identify someone has or two people have the same NIN number. It's a big problem. It's a very big problem. So now you've identified this problem, you can now say, see, I've identified a duplicate here. Let's investigate what's the problem. How did this come about? And then they'll do whatever they want to do and then correct it. You understand? So right now, remember I put this value here, which is the correct value. So I'm going to change this now. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here and then press Ctrl C, which is copy. Or if you don't want to affect, maybe do some formatting, if you don't want to affect the formatting of this particular cell, you might want to just select it from the formula bar. So when you select it here, you press your Ctrl C to copy, and then you come here and then Ctrl V to paste. Now you notice that the red highlighting has disappeared because it's not identifying any more duplicates. Let me change this back to 0. This was what we have here. So this is the correct data. We don't have any duplicates again. So we can clear the filter. And if we come here, we notice that filter by color has been frozen because there is no color here. There's no highlighting. So we've been able to fix the issues with duplicates that we've identified here. Then you can actually identify duplicate names. Usually, ideally, some people might have the same first name and last name. So maybe if you're trying to find duplicates, it's ideal you use values that are really unique, like phone numbers, email addresses, maybe like employee ID, product ID, SKU ID or code, product code, all those kind of stuff like that, that you know they shouldn't be duplicates. So those are where you try to identify, okay, do we have duplicates in any of those places that we shouldn't have duplicates? So all you just do is you run your, you select the whole cell and the whole column. Remember, Control Shift down, then your conditional formatting, duplicate. Here, I'm expected to see duplicates, but it's okay to have duplicates here because this basically years, I think graduation year, so it's normal to have the same graduation year, so this is not a problem. So I'm going to clear this. Now, when you have a formatting like this and you want to clear it, you can come here, back to conditional formatting. You see clear rules, and then you have the option to clear rules from the selected column or from the entire sheet. Sometimes you might have different conditional formatting you have put in certain columns. So you might restrict to a particular column. Like now, I'm on this column. I might say, okay, I want to clear for the selected cells. I can just select the whole thing here. And then conditional formatting, clear rules from selected cells. So everything selected in this area is what I want to clear. But then, with what we are working with, we don't need to select all this. We just only have one conditional formatting. So we can just do clear rules from the entire sheet, which is faster. So before we move further, is there any question we have so far?
No, sir, we're fine.
Okay, so I believe we are good with this. Now let's go into formulas proper. Now this is where it's going to get interesting. I actually enjoy this part, and I'm very sure you enjoy it too. Now I'm going to show us how to do basic calculations on Excel. And I would like to work with this, for example. Okay, let's work with what we have here, salary. By the way, I didn't show you how to format. If we want to work with salaries, you can actually format them properly. For example, let me show you something. Now you can see here, I'm clicking this cell here. Now here you have under your home tab, you see general. This is where you have your formats. You can format your data anyhow you like, whether general or in numbers or in currency, date, time, percentage, and whatever you want. Now, if you notice, when I click where you have date of birth or where you have dates, here has changed to dates. So it shows that this was correctly formatted as dates, or usually when you type in a date, Excel automatically formats it for you as a date. So most times you don't need to go and select. When you just type in a date, it knows it's a date and it formats it for you. So that's why you see when you click here, it's showing dates here. And if you click here, general or number, this is just general formatting. It can be anything, but dates specifically, it will show. So now I want to format this as a currency. It's general now. So all I'll just do is I'll come here, click currency. Is in dollars now. It has a dollar sign, has a decimal place. Or I can do the accounting formatting where the dollar sign is at the end, like far end. Yeah, the dollar sign is at the far end. But let's just work with currency. I think this is better. Now, when you want to do something like this, you can actually select the entire column and click currency. So you automatically format everything as currency, as you can see here. So we have a currency here. I think let's change this to Naira. Should we? Let's change it to Naira.
Yeah, mine is Naira already, sir.
Okay, yours is Naira. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Basically, I'm just going to come here where you have the dollar sign. And I used to have the Naira sign somewhere here, but let me check more accounting formats. If you don't have it, you can check. Okay. Let's wait for my system. It's slowing down. Okay. So now where you see it's showing you the accounting symbols here. So on Excel, if you're looking for Naira, you might not find it. So let's look for languages. You can see Yoruba, Kanuri, Igbo, Ibibio, and what have you, even Edo. So it identifies it as currencies, Nigerian currency. So let's select Yoruba now. Okay, now all our values have changed to Naira. So just when you have maybe data that has to do with money, it's good to format it correctly. Now I want us to find the sum of all the salaries. Like, just imagine this is a whole company that has almost 3,000 staff, and this is what they pay as salary. Let's now calculate how much these guys spend every month on salaries. So on Excel, when you want to start typing in formulas, let's use this particular cell to calculate. Any cell you want, but I want to use this particular cell to calculate. The first thing you start typing is equal to. Once you press equal to, Excel understands that you want to start calculating or typing in some formulas or functions to do some ad hoc tasks for you. Now, let's do a sum. There's an Excel formula we call sum. So,
hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry for cutting you.
Okay.
When you change the currency from dollars to Naira, it seems your network had an issue. So there was a pause. So we didn't see anything.
Okay. Let me do that.
Yeah, we could only hear your voice, but we never saw anything.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to select this entire row, starting from this first data. I remember the shortcut is Control Shift down. Yeah. Now I'm coming here where you have the dollar sign. There's a drop down here.
Okay.
So I'm clicking the drop down, and then you see dollars, pounds, euros, yen, and all that. But there's no Naira here. So we go to more accounting formats, and then we have this box. It is a window here. So where you see the symbols, you click this drop down, and if you scroll down, you see a whole lot of currencies here, even the ones that were written in letters. But I was saying if you had to look for Naira, you wouldn't see Naira here. That was the major point I was trying to pass across. You won't see Naira, so just look for a Nigerian language, like Yoruba or something. Okay, now you can see Edo, Fula, Hausa, Ibibio, Igbo, Kanuri, Yoruba. All of them have the currencies that we are looking for. So let's go with Yoruba. So we click Yoruba and then okay. So the currency is changed to Naira. So when you're looking for Naira, you won't actually see Naira. Just look for Nigerian languages, select any one of your preference, and the currency will change to Naira. So are we clear with that one?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So I want us to calculate how much these guys spend every month. on salaries. So, like I said, when you are starting any formula on Excel, you press your equal to, and then there's a formula we call sum, S-U-M. As you see, as I'm typing, there's a whole lot of formulas starting with S that is showing me to pick from. U, it has streamlined it to formulas that start with SU, and then M. So once you see your formula, this is what we are looking for, sum. You either double click it or you press your tab on your keyboard. So look at your tab, that is just at the left side of your Q, you see tab, press tab, and then to open a bracket for you. Are we there? Are we good at this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, there are different ways to highlight whatever you want to sum. So usually, if you want to sum, say this, you just click the cell. Usually, people write it, but in writing, you notice syntax, you can make mistakes, and if you make a mistake, you won't get the right value. So ideally, we click the cell where we want to start adding. And then, as you can see, Excel has a way of explaining its formulas for you, where you see sum, brackets, number 1, comma, number 2. What it's simply saying is that if you are starting a formula on Excel, especially this particular one, we have sum. Number 1 is in bold letters, as you can see here. So what it means is that you are typing the first number you want to sum, and then followed by a comma. So now I put a comma. If you notice, number 2 is now bold. So I'm going to click any other cell I want, maybe this, comma, and you see number 3 is bold, and I click this one. Then maybe I don't want to calculate again. I just say I want to stop here. I'll now close with a bracket and press enter. So these 3 salaries summed up to 1.1 million. But then we have over almost 3,000 salaries
Please,
to
sir, can you
sum.
go over? Sorry for
Okay.
cutting you, sir. Please, can you go over some summing process again?
Okay, I'm going to do it again. Now, when I said when you are starting any formula at all on Excel, any formula, you start with equal to. Equal to is like, I want to start a formula now. So when you type equal to, Excel understands you want to start calculating or doing some other function. Now, the formula you want to use is sum. So it's either you double click the sum or you press the tab key on your keyboard. That is just at the left side of Q. Me, I prefer to use the tab. It's fast for me so that I don't go ahead and start typing in my brackets and all that. So usually, maybe as I put in my SU, I'm already seeing sum somewhere around here. This is my keyboard direction. I move to sum, press tab, and I have my brackets open already for me to start entering the values I want to sum. So are we good at this point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, like I said, if you want to sum, you click whatever you want to sum. I want to sum these first 3. I click this, and as I'm summing, you see number 1, number 2, and blah, blah, blah. It's going on like that. But this number 1 is bold, meaning that whatever I'm typing now is pertaining to number 1. That is the first number I want to sum. And then after this number 1, you see there's a comma here. That is the format of the formula. So when I put in my comma, number 1 is no longer bold. It now moves to number 2, which is bold. So it's telling me put in my second number that I want to sum. And I can click this. And I put under comma this. I can keep doing that on and on. Maybe I want to stop at 5.
Okay.
And then I'll close. And I'll close my brackets and press enter. So I've been able to sum the first 5 salaries, and I have 2,490,000 naira. But then we have almost 3,000 salaries to be summed. So if you want to click till you get down here, you may not finish this work in the next 1 hour. So what we have to do is we select it as a range. How do we select ranges? Sum. I'm going to select everything from here. Usually I can do, I can click this, hold it and drag it. But like I said, we have to work with a lot of shortcuts. So I've dragged it up to this point. And if you were to look at my formula now, it's showing me sum A2, what we have here. This column means 2, like from A2 to A32, that is where I selected. So this column simply means 2. Like I'm selecting it as a range, AH2 to AH32. But then, like I said, this is going to take us a whole lot of time to keep dragging. So we are going to use that same keyboard shortcut. Just click the first cell and then Control Shift down. It has selected everything. You can even look at your formula bar. You can look at your formula bar. It has selected equal to sum AH2 to AH299. Then you can close the brackets. But in this case, sometimes you might not need to close the bracket, but there are some other complex formulas you might need to close your bracket. Otherwise, your formulas won't work well. But ideally, just close your brackets. So let's learn with closing our bracket, just like you are solving mathematical equations. If you open a bracket, you have to close the other brackets. So basically, what this is just saying is sum all the values you have from cell AH2 to cell AH2999. That is what we have here. And then we press enter. Oh my God, almost a billion naira. This company must be very rich. So every month they spend 914 million naira. 914 million naira, 914,000 on salaries. So this is how we calculate sum. Is anybody that is lost at this point? Are we on the same page?
Yes, but it's not giving me the same sum. My sum is 915.
915.
Yes, 915364.
Okay. Wow.
40,000.
Is anybody getting that same value? Is anybody getting the same value?
I got 914.
Okay. Let me see. Click this.
Even my salary is not arranged as yours. Like for my first one is 450,000. The second one is 170,000. But I can see 440 for you.
Okay. You know why it's like this? You know, I did a whole lot of sorting. So we sorted, the last sorting we did was GPA, college GPA. So if you sort according to college GPA, you should have this as the first salary. But the sorting doesn't really matter. It will sum whatever it sees there, even if you sort it differently. But I wanted to check, the person who has a different value, click this column AH, and check
I think that's
your counts.
no such one.
Check your counts. Check your counts if you have the same number of data that I have here. Click AH here. Check if the count is the same.
Yes.
Okay.
914.
So have you gotten the same value now?
914.
Okay. So that is how we calculate our sum. So right now they can give you data sets. Okay, let me use here, for example. Let me say just a quick analysis, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, and then maybe we have different values. May not necessarily use all these, but I just want to use this to show you how sum works when you are working with data. So let's assume this is our total now. Basically, we just do sum. Remember how we start? You put in your equal to first, then you type sum, and once you have your sum highlighted like this, just press your tab, and then you have your formula outline written like this. So all we just have to do is, this is a small data, so we just select everything like this and press enter. So we'll be able to sum everything here, and we have 218. But here we are working with large data sets, so we won't be able to use our mouse to drag. So we are going to use our keyboard shortcuts. Let me run this again. Equal to sum. You press your tab, and then you select the first salary, which is AH2. Then you hold Control Shift down, and then close your bracket and enter. And that's what we have here. So is there anybody that didn't get it at this point? Are we together?
Okay, yeah, it's giving. Yes, sir.
Okay, so does anybody have any question with this formula sum, so that we can look at maybe 2 or 3 other formulas, basic formulas for calculations? Basically, what I will just be giving you are the basics. There's a whole lot of other formulas you can actually, by looking at them, you already know what you can do. So let's do something else like products. So, I want to find the product of, what am I going to use here? Okay. Now, there's a formula we call products, which is multiplication. And sometimes when you check formulas like this, Excel explains what the formula does. Like this, probability returns the probability that values in a range are between 2 limits or equal to the lower point. Then product multiplies all numbers given as arguments. So this is what we want. Tab. Just the same way we did our sum. That's the same way we do our product. But in this aspect, I can select all this. I can select one. I can even use numbers. I can type numbers myself. For example, I want to multiply this salary by 12. Let me know how much this person will earn in a year, this particular person. So I've selected this. I put a comma. And then the next number, I'll just type in 12 myself. Close the bracket. Press enter. Okay, this isn't formatted correctly, so let me do that. Currency. Okay. So I've been able to find the product of this value times 12. Now, like I told you, whenever you click on a particular cell that has a formula, if you look at the formula bar, what you see is the formula and not the value. You understand? Just like this one, there's no formula here. That's why you see the value here. Same with this. But when I click this, you see the formula here, products. If I click this, you see the formula here. So this is for products. It's just the same way we use we do our what do you call it? Our sum. Then you can also find average. So I want us to find the average salary. Average. This is average. Let's find the average salary that is being paid in this company. So just the same way we did our sum, I'm going to click here, Control Shift down, close the brackets. As I'm typing in formulas here, you'll notice that the formulas are also showing up in the formula bar. So I press enter. So the average salary here is 305,174 and 78 kobo. So this is average products by 12, and this is just the sum, so that we know what we calculated here. Let's see something else. Let's check min and max. I want to find the mean value here, the minimum salary that is being paid here. We found the average. Let's see the minimum. So we select everything here in this whole column. As you all know, it's Control Shift down. We close the brackets, and we have, wow, 35,000 is the minimum. The person must be the cleaner or something, or the driver, I don't know. The maximum salary here, max, $4 million. So at this point, is anybody confused? Is there anything you want me to go through again? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So do we understand these basic formulas? There are other formulas anyway, but these are just basic Excel formulas we use to calculate. Then you can actually do calculations manually if you want, if you would like. For example, equal to, if I want to sum this plus this minus that, however I like, it still gives me what I have here. You understand? You can even combine formulas. For example, where we have sum, and then you want to subtract. You say minus, let's say 100,000. So you can actually type your formulas that way. You can even, if you want, still multiply by 2, or you can even use raised to power. That is on your keyboard. Mine is 6, Shift 6. So just basic mathematical operations that you can do. Just when you are working, know how you use your brackets so that you don't, like the whole board mass of a thing, so that you don't get wrong calculations. So Excel is actually easy. So far, is there anything that is difficult here? Is there anything difficult here?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. I don't have much time, but I would like to do one or two complex formulas or advanced formulas that I use regularly. Let's work with something like this now. Now, I want to show you a particular formula. In fact, it's a very popular formula we use in Excel. It's called VLOOKUP. Let me just type in the formula and explain it here. So this is VLOOKUP. Now, they actually explained it as this. It looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table, and then returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. By default, the table must be sorted in ascending order. In my opinion, it's not necessary, except you're using a particular function called lookup. Okay, you might not understand what VLOOKUP means, but I'll explain it. Now, in a situation where you have a data set like what we have here, and you are needed to maybe say, I'm going to create a quick data set now, just a very quick one. Very quick. Okay, this is enough. All right. I want to clean off all of this now. I'm going to clean off all of this. Now, let me format this. You can actually add lines to your table. You come to this place where you have your home here, you click here, and then all borders. So it gives it lines so that when you are printing, it has borders. If you don't do it like this particular one, if you print it this way, it will just have your data without lines. To just be like printing just a white sheet with data, almost like just with spaces, not lines. But usually it's good to have it this way. So now let's do something. I'm going to select a few columns I want to populate. I won't need this, so I can delete. So basically what I'm just doing is I'm selecting some columns I won't need, and I'll delete them like this. I click here, right click, delete. Can select all of this, right click, delete. Let me see what I need here. Okay. College ID is necessary. Okay, I just need degree, specialization. So I don't think I need this. Delete. Specialize. Just a second. Okay. Okay. Now you can have a situation where you're giving data set like this, and they will need you to look for all this information on this larger data set. This is like when you talk about subsets and supersets. So this is the complete set. So we can call this table the superset, and this one is just a fraction of this. So this is the subset. So we just selected about how many? 102. Okay, let me make it 100. Let me just delete 2 rows. Okay, no, I should have deleted 1. Counting my header. So, all right. Now, what I want to do is to use VLOOKUP to extract the information here based on the ID. Normally, now if they tell you fill up this, you have to start looking for this ID. Maybe you say you can even copy it out, which is going to be very difficult. You come here and say filter. If you have on your own filter, there's somewhere you can type, so you can paste the value there or type whatever you're looking for. But in my own case, I don't have that, so I will improvise equal to this. Okay, and I press OK. Then I'll come and start copying one by one. If I had to do this for 100 of this, you take 2 days at least to finish doing all this. 2 days. But then with VLOOKUP, I can do this in a matter of minutes. Like minutes. If I let me even reduce, I don't want to add too much. Let me just reduce, rather delete them. Let me delete it instead. I just want something. Okay. I think this will do. Okay. So right now I'm going to use VLOOKUP to fill up everything here, and it won't take me up to 5 minutes. 5 minutes is too much for me to do all this. But if you have to do it manually, you won't finish it in one day, I bet you. Now, watch what I'm going to do. Remember VLOOKUP. By the way, if you want to learn more about formulas, you can just click here and search for the formula you're looking for, which is okay, all formulas, VLOOKUP. It explains it for you and shows you the formats, just like when you were doing your sum. Here you have your lookup value, comma, the table array, comma, column index number, comma, range lookup, and all that. Now, let's just go into it and I will show you how we work. Now, the first thing we do basically when we are working with formulas is to type in equal to and then VLOOKUP. Now, remember when you're working with VLOOKUP, make sure you are working with unique values. Basically, what VLOOKUP wants to do is to look for information that is particular to this ID. I'm going to click this ID now, which is A3, comma. Now it's telling me which table am I going to pull that information for. That's why it's asking for the table array. So I'm going to come here and then I will select from here or here, anyone, but ideally here. Now this is going to be the starting point of my table array. Why? Because here is my column, my unique ID. If I'm using this, it must be the first column. It must be the first column of the table I want to select. Basically, I'm just selecting a range. I'm creating a range. So I'm going to select this and then use my Control Shift. Okay, I'm not selecting everything now, but let's just check. Let's select everything. Let's select everything. Control Shift right and Control Shift down. And once you do that, I want you to press F4 on your keyboard. Some people, it may not work for you. All you just have to do is you come here, you put a $sign in front of A, put a $sign in front of the number. Then the same thing after the colon, you put a $sign in front of the letter, you put a $sign in front of the number. Now, what we have just done basically is selected a table. That is what we call the table array. Then, comma. Now it's asking column index number. In this table I've selected, what column number am I going to use to look for that value I'm looking for? And in this case, we selected from here. We are starting from here. This is column 1 and column 2. I want to find the agenda. So this is the second column, and we just basically write 2 and then comma. Now here is asking for a range. True is approximate match. False is exact match. But usually I use binary, 1 or 0. 1 is true, 0 is false. So what we are looking for is the exact match. So I usually use 0. It's the same thing as false. And then I close my brackets and I press enter. And if you noticed, M is here. Look at my formula here. But look at what it's giving me here. So it's saying that this person is male. And then when you have something like this, you can actually drag the formula down instead of typing the formula afresh or double clicking. Or you can use a shortcut which will just allow you select everything. Control Shift down to select everything. Okay, it's selecting more than I want. But anyway, let's work with it. Control Shift down, then you press Control D. Control D. But it's giving me more than I require. So we may not need to use Control D here. So just double click and the whole formula populates downwards for you. Usually when you work with stuff like this, you can even decide to check, like what may I do is I put those column numbers here, so I don't need to keep going and counting column numbers here. So for example, the gender is column 2, this is definitely column 1, then date of birth here is going to be column 3. Sorry, 3. Then the degree is here. This should be column 11, just to help you so that you don't make mistakes with the column numbers. Specialization is 12. College GPA. College GPA is 13. Okay, let's just work with this for now. So I'm going to run this VLOOKUP again because I know it's confusing for a lot of people. So basically, I'm going to use equal to VLOOKUP. My lookup value is this. This is the unique value I'm looking for. It's basically going to look for this number here, comma. It's going to look for it here. So I'm going to select. Then you can actually make this easier by naming your range. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So first of all, let's name this our tables. Instead of going back and forth, we'll just type in something. So I'm going to select from here down to here. And then here where you have A2, I'm going to type in, what am I going to type in? ANGR, enter. Now, every time I come in here and type in ENGR, Excel has identified this as a name of a table and it automatically selects it. So when I'm typing my formula, I don't need to go and start selecting all this again. I'll just type it in. So here, I can now start with my VLOOKUP. Now, my lookup value is going to be this, comma. My table array is going to be EN. You can see it's even pulling it out for me. So I can use my tab to autofill, comma. Now, column index number is 3, comma, and then 0. And I have the date of birth. So dragging it down is simply just, duplicating the formulas for all this instead of writing the formulas afresh. As you can see, this is for A3, A4, A5. So basically, you hold this here. There's a dot here. You hold it and drag, or you double click, and it completes it for you. Now, can you see how VLOOKUP is making the work easy for me? Instead of going from this table, sorting and filtering and searching and copying and pasting, you won't finish that work today, not even tomorrow, especially if you're working with a whole lot of data like this. So you can just continue like that. This, and the table is ANGR, and then the column number is 11, and then 0 for exact match. And we have their degree, and we double click, and we are done. Okay, I'll stop at this point. Is anybody confused? Is anybody getting it? Is anybody having any question? Let me know. Let me know. Are we there? Do you understand this part? Hello, I can't hear anybody. I can't hear anybody.
Hello, sir.
Okay. So are we getting it at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is anybody having any question about VLOOKUP? Anybody at all?
Early. Sir, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So you mean the VLOOKUP is just the cell you want to look up, comma, the entity that is the superset, comma,
Yes.
comma, the row, then comma, the 1 or 0, that is 0 for exact, then 1 for one other. I've forgotten what you call that.
Okay, one is
the other
approximate match.
Okay, yeah.
But we are
Okay,
looking for the
Y0 is the
exact
exact
match.
match.
Yes.
Okay.
We want to put in the exact thing that is there. So we use false or 0. 0 is just easy for me to type, so I don't need to start typing in false.
Okay, I understand, sir.
Okay, so that's basically that about VLOOKUP. I believe it's very easy. It's just the way we do a lot of maybe updating of data. Maybe they can give you this, quickly add this thing from this other sheet with this employer ID or this product ID or whatever. You just use your VLOOKUP, extract the data, and you're good to go. This is something that can take you 2 minutes with VLOOKUP, and if you have to do it, you will use a whole working day and you will not finish the job. So you can see how VLOOKUP makes work easy. I actually explain VLOOKUP as an errand boy. You just send, go and collect this thing in this particular place and keep it for me here. That is what VLOOKUP does for you. So if there's no question, let me see if I can cover one or two other advanced formulas. Let me see. Can we still work with this data? Yes, I can. Okay. Now I want to generate something. There's a formula we call if. So let me see if I can work here, and I just want to create a new column here. So if is a very, very simple formula actually. All if does is it tests stuff for you. Maybe you say if this is equal to this, or if this matches this, give me this value. If not, I don't know if anybody is conversant with SQL. SQL is almost the same thing as case when. If you know SQL very well, when you use your case function, case when that, then this, and stuff like that. So it's just the same thing we use here in Excel. If. So, for example, now I want to say, let me work with this cell. Okay, for example, now let's categorize this GPA. So I want to say if this cell where we have our GPA, I'm going to click it. This is the first one. If this is greater than or equal to 50, this is a logical test or a condition I'm giving it. I'm now putting a comma. Now it's asking me what value do I want if true. So I want to put pass for this. So we are going to use our double quotation. Whenever you're writing stuff like this and you have to put in a text, you have to separate it in double quotation. But if it's number, you can type the number without the double quotation. But now we want to type pass. But we can't type it like this. It won't recognize it. So we use this PASS. So meaning that if this is greater than or equal to 50, just write pass for me. And then comma, the value if false. If is false, just write fail for me. And then you close your bracket and you press enter. Now you can see here it has pass. And then I'm going to do the same thing for others. Double click. Now I want to filter and see how many people failed. So I'm going to right click, filter this out. As you can see, there's fail. So I'm going to uncheck pass and just filter for the fail. And I have 10 out of 2,998. So it's a very, very simple formula, very simple. You can use if for anything. You can even combine multiple ifs if you want. If this, that, and that, and that, it can get really, really complex. I want us to look at another one we call count if. Count if. I would like to work with this just a second. Count if. Let me create a new. Okay, so I want to count how many people are having, this is a degree, right? And then the number. I want to know how many people have these particular degrees in this data set. So I'm going to use count if. Now, how does count if work? Equal to count. It's just like if, but you are counting something based on a criteria. So you see, it says count the number of cells within a range that meets a given condition. So you have to give it a condition for what it will count. If you want it to count anything that is less than 50, it will go and look for everything that's less than 50 and count it and give it the value. But in this case now it's asking for my range. Where do I want to count? And then the criteria is what exactly I want to count. Now, just pay attention here. The range is actually going to be where I have these degrees listed and is here. So I want to count everything from here. This is my range. And I'm going to press F4. If F4 doesn't work for you with these dollar signs, just put a dollar sign in front of the letter and a dollar sign in front of the number. Same thing after the column. Dollar sign in front of the letter, dollar sign in front of the number. So I've selected the range where I want to count. And then comma. Now it's asking criteria. What exactly do you want me to count in that particular column? So we come back to this place and I can just basically click this. So I'm asking it to count anything you see that looks like MTech exactly like this and give me the value. And I close my bracket, enter. So it has calculated 40 people having this degree, and I'm dragging down and I have this. You can even total it to see if we're actually correct, if we'll get the same value we had, the total sum 998. Exactly the same thing we have. So count if can work on either numbers, texts, ranges, no matter however you want to count. And also if you want, you can even count multiple, like we have the count ifs. Count ifs is, for example, let me say I want to count number that is female because I know female are less. I've already checked the data. Number of females with this degree. I'm going to use count ifs. This time around, I'll add an S in front of the count if. Now it's asking for the criteria range 1. Now the criteria range 1 is going to be where I have my sex or gender. I'm going to click everything here, down, F4, or you put your dollar sign the way it should be, comma. Now the criteria, what criteria? Anywhere you see F. So I'm going to put this F, comma. Then criteria range 2 is the degree also. F4, and then the range. The criteria, sorry, criteria range, and then the criteria. This, and I'm going to close it, enter. So now the value has changed to 7, and I'm dragging this down, and you can see 7 females have MTech, 47 have MCA. We don't have any female with MSc Tech, and our total females are 716. So this is just one of those interesting formulas we work with to just extract data, and you can even from there do any analysis you want to do. And you can even do sum ifs, but I don't want to go into that now. But sum if is just almost the same. Sum if, you give it the range, the criteria, and the sum range. Or should we do that? Should we do that? Do we have time? Hello, are we together?
Yeah, I think most of the people. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Most of the people have left the class. There's only
Oh
one
my
person.
God. Okay. Anyway, let me just do maybe data visualization and I'll wrap it up here.
Okay.
All right, so let me just visualize this data. I want to visualize this data. So I'm going to use, I'm going to visualize it with a bar chart and a pie chart. So when you want to visualize data, you select the data. You don't have to select the total, just select this. Then you come here, we have inserts, and then you see charts, column, and then we are going to select this. And okay, my system is slowing down. Okay, so this is our chart. Number of females that are having MTech. This is what we have. Very easy. And if we want to make it into a pie chart, you can also insert a pie chart. Usually I love the donuts pie charts. So you can actually right click and add your data labels. You can even format them how you want. Sorry, excuse me. So I want to see the percentage and not the values. I think I'm okay with that. Okay, because of their very, very small values. So, but we can see that BTech, we have more in BTech, which is 92%. So I guess we can stop here, but I'll actually tell you there's a lot to learn in Excel. I just gave you the foundation. So just go online, go on YouTube. There's a whole lot. You can even experiment on your own by just playing with maybe some data sets. There are some formulas I learned on my own without even going to YouTube, by just understanding what the formula is. You know, I just maybe like something like count if. I didn't have to watch any tutorial. The formula explained itself. I applied it, it worked, and I kept using it. Something like that. Sum if, although I learned some other, maybe like if and combination of ifs and other formulas. So I guess is a wrap from here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
All right. I don't know if you have any question. Okay.
What about the GPA calculator you mentioned?
Okay, yes. Let me see if I can pull it out now. Just give me a moment. Okay, I'll have to share my screen for that. Just a moment. Okay, let me share. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Basically, this is a GPA calculator I designed. There is a whole lot of formulas here, but I'm just going to explain it briefly. What it does is it helps you calculate your GPA, your grade points, everything, even giving you your grade point, your final GPA and your degree at the end. All you just need to do is key in your course, your credit load, your continuous assessment, your exam, and everything happening here becomes automatic. And then it also has a performance analytics dashboard where you can monitor your academic performance. Like you can see, it's just a demo version. So let me just show you how it works. Let me just edit a few things here. For example, let's say this is a 10, and there's a way I designed it. If you put in something more than 15 here, it tells you CA score cannot be more than 15. So it must be something that is not more than 15. So let me put it 12. And your exam score cannot be more than 70 also. So let's just change this to, let's say 52, and just watch, everything here will change. So 74A, and you may not really notice, but let me just do a few changes. Let me do some here. Maybe here. Okay. So there's not much changes happening, but as you can see, this was 2.63 before, it's now 2.68. So basically, all it does is it helps you calculate everything. This is each semester, year 1, semester 1, year 2, semester 2. This is the GPA for each semester, and this is the cumulative till you get to your final GPA, what you have here. So actually, I don't know, much people are not around. I wanted to give this as a discount of 1.5, but basically I sell this at least 4,000, 5,000. But I decided to give it at a discount. It's something you can buy and you have it throughout your academic year, maybe from first year to final year, depending on your class. And then you can also use it to, as a personal transcript, just to keep track of your GP in case at the end of your program, they are giving you some funny GP and you're like, no, this is not what I had. You can now start telling them, I have copies of my grades, and you show them. So it's just basically that. So is there any other question?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. At this point, I'll say thank you very much for your time. And I really, really, really apologize for starting late. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We
Thank
can
you,
always
sir.
go back to the
Okay.